I don't know what I ate last night, but it's still alive inside me. The first thing I remember is the weight. I came to on all fours, the cheap polyester carpet digging into my palms. My head was spinning. Sure, that's normal for a Tuesday. But my guts felt like I'd swallowed a cinder block. A hot one. I stayed there for a minute, just breathing. In, out. Waiting for the room to stop tilting on its axis. My living room. Same shitty beige walls, same pile of mail on the coffee table. I tried to push myself up, and my whole torso swayed like a bell, a low, wet thump echoing from deep inside me. I fucking hate throwing up. Can't stand it. The smell, the heaving, the way your mouth floods with that weird, sweet saliva right before the gates of hell open. So I just clenched my fists into the carpet, counted to 10, and prayed to a God I don't believe in to just let it pass. It sort of did. The urge to puke subsided, but the weight remained. It was a leaden, burning presence in my core, pulling everything down. Jesus Christ, Kaz, I muttered, my voice a dry rasp. What did you drink last night? The burp that followed wasn't an answer. It tasted like static and old pennies. I pushed myself to my feet, and the world lurched violently. All the blood in my body felt like it rushed to my stomach, sloshing around the hot thing sitting there. I had to grab the back of the sofa to keep from falling over. One step. Then another. My body felt alien, like I was piloting a faulty machine. Each movement was a negotiation with gravity. The hunger, though, was real. Or at least, I thought it was hunger. It was a hollow, grinding noise coming from the pit of me, a demand for fuel. Food. Right. Food fixes everything. I made it to the kitchen, leaning against the counter for a second to catch my breath. The thought of actually cooking anything, of chopping and frying, was enough to make my stomach churn again. No way. Freezer it is. I pulled open the door, the cold air a welcome relief. Stacks of plastic containers stared back at me, my meal prep for the month. I grabbed one at random. The label was smeared, but I could make out the words 5-alarm chili and a date from a couple of months ago. Perfect. Something to scorch whatever was festering inside me. I peeled back the plastic film, dumped the frozen brick into a bowl, and shoved it in the microwave. 8 minutes. I watched the numbers count down, my own reflection, a ghostly white smudge on the dark glass. That's when the second wave hit. It was 10 times worse than the first. My knees buckled, and I crashed onto the linoleum, the impact jarring my teeth. My mouth filled with water. This was it. No stopping it this time. I braced myself on my hands, head hanging, waiting for the inevitable, horrible release. My stomach contracted, a violent, full-body spasm. I felt something move inside me, something solid and dense rising up my esophagus. It wasn't food. It felt angular, like a hot piece of rock trying to force its way out. It scraped the inside of my throat, a dry, agonizing friction. My head felt like it was going to explode. The pressure behind my eyes was immense, a blinding white light. I squeezed them shut, groaning, and then it just stopped. The thing in my throat slid back down, settling into its furnace with a wet plop. The nausea vanished. The pressure in my head was gone. I was just kneeling on my kitchen floor, shaky and sweating. A bubble of heat crawled up my throat. It wasn't a burp. It was a plume of hot, foul air that hissed out from between my lips. The smell was biblical. Brimstone and rotten meat and something else, something sharp and chemical, like burning wires. It shimmered in the air for a second, a visible distortion, before it dissipated. The stench filled the small kitchen, and I scrambled away from it, gagging. I had to get that taste, that smell, out of me. I stumbled into the bathroom, fumbling for the bottle of mouthwash on the counter. Arctic Blast. Thank God. I twisted the cap off, not bothering with the little cup, and took a huge swig. The second the minty blue liquid hit my tongue, my mouth erupted in agony. It wasn't a burn, it was a chemical fire. A sizzling, crackling noise filled my ears, and I could feel the flesh of my tongue blistering. I spat involuntarily, a spray of blue foam and saliva hitting the mirror. The mouthwash came out steaming. I panted, my tongue lolling out, waving a hand in front of my face like I'd just eaten a ghost pepper. But this was from something that came out of me. It was just air, my own goddamn breath. The pain subsided to a low, throbbing simmer. I leaned over the sink, my knuckles white, and looked at my reflection, or what was left of it. Where the spray had hit the mirror, the silvering was gone, etched away. A spider web of black, dead glass stared back at me. My eyes drifted down to the mouthwash bottle in my hand. The plastic rim of the opening, where my lips had touched it, was melted. It had collapsed inward, blackened and twisted like a spent fuse. A new taste filled my mouth. Bitter, acrid plastic. I grabbed my toothbrush, squeezed a fat worm of paste onto it, and started scrubbing. To my immense relief, there was no fire, no chemical reaction. The scrubbing was actually soothing, like putting aloe on a sunburn. I rinsed and repeated 3 times, but the phantom taste of burnt plastic lingered under the mint. I needed to floss. Get every last particle of whatever the hell that was out of my mouth. I pulled a long strand from the dispenser. As I brought it toward my teeth, the white string began to smoke. It curled, blackened, and disintegrated into a wisp of ash before it ever touched me. I dropped the plastic container. It clattered in the sink. I just stared at the ruined mirror, at the melted bottle, at the little pile of floss ash on the porcelain. Then I heard it again, from inside me. A loud, wet, shifting sound. The heavy cinder block rolled over in my guts. Slosh. Gurgle. Thump. This wasn't a hangover. This wasn't food poisoning. I had to get out. I had to find a doctor. Someone had to get this thing out of me.